Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, there was an old sow who sent her 3 little pigs out into the world to find their fortune. She wished them good luck and warned them to be careful of the big bad wolf. On the road, the first little pig met a man selling straw.
Can I please have some straw? I wouldn't think that would be a good idea. What do you know about that?
So the first little pig bought the straw and set about building her house. It took no time at all. It was not very pretty, and it was not very strong. And she moved on over here so she could go. Meanwhile, someone was watching from the hill. Someone who really liked to eat little pigs. The second little pig went along and met a man selling some sticks.
Can I please have some sticks to go in the house? I'll think twice about that. Oh, how do you know?
But she bought the sticks anyway, and she went to work building her house. It took no time at all. It was not very pretty, and it was not very strong. But she thought to herself,
I don't want to work all day. I just want to sing and play.
Meanwhile, someone was still watching and peeking from behind the hill. Someone who was fond of eating little pigs. Meanwhile, the third little pig met a man who was selling bricks.
Dad, please have these bricks to build a house, please. Oh, thank you. That's a great idea.
But she bought the bricks and she went off to build her house. It took her quite a long time, but the house was very sturdy and very strong. Now, about the time that the first little pig got settled in her house, along came the wolf. He knocked on her door and said,
You little pig, let me in. Not by the hair, my little chin. And then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down.
So he huffed and he puffed, and he blew that house down. The little pig ran to her sister's house where she safely got in. Her sister closed the door. But not long after, the wolf came along again.
You little pigs, let me in. Not by the hair, my chin. Now huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down.
He huffed and puffed and huffed and puffed, and he blew that house down. And the 2 little pigs ran to their sister's house. Now the wolf was quite hungry. He ran over to that house and knocked on the door, yelling,
You little pigs, let me in. Not by the hair of our chin.
The first 2 little pigs were very afraid. But the third little pig said,
You can't blow my house down.
the wolf said,
Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down.
he tried. He huffed and he puffed, and he huffed and he puffed, and he all huffed and he puffed till he was blue in the face. Then he thought to himself,
I'll climb up the roof and go down the chimney.
Now the little pigs heard it, and they grabbed a pot, and they made a fire and put the pot right on it. The wolf said, Here I come.
Here it comes. I'm going to eat you.
And he climbed up the roof, but right then he fell down the chimney right into the pot of boiling water. He fell into the pot of boiling water, and he was so hot, he ran right away to the hillside. And the 3 little pigs lived happily ever after in their strong house built of bricks. The